Hello everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today I am here with my wrap up for September. I do apologize, I don't even know when this is going to be going up because it's already the 5th when I'm filming this, and I have just been really delayed in filming this, even getting my stats together, all of that. So I do apologize, but I am here finally to wrap up September. So I'm going to go over my top books and my stats from September. So let's dive into my monthly wrap up. Okay, guys. So, again, sorry for the delay, but you know, life happens, or maybe me just getting sidetracked and not getting this ready for you guys. I don't know. I don't know if you guys even really care about the monthly wrap ups, where I talk about stats and top 5 books, because, I don't even talk settled to 5. I usually bring up more now, but, I do weekly wrap ups, so all my reviews are there anyways, but I still like to do this to kind of wrap up my month and kind of talk about some of my favorites and see where I landed stats wise, because I do keep track of every book that I read. I have a spreadsheet. I also review every book that I read on Goodreads. So if you are interested and you want to see my reviews too, or follow me on Goodreads, you can friend me. I have that link down below as well. So anyways, enough of that. Let's go ahead and dive into my stats. So for September, I read 43 books, which is fantastic. I think I read 43 in August too, which is like, these are high numbers for me. Again, I want to preference this, and you will see it in the stats later, that I read a ton of audiobooks. I listen to a ton of audiobooks. I listen at a high speed. I'm really used to a high speed. I can't handle a low speed. So that's a lot of my books. You know, some people will be like, how do you read this many books? Like, they don't really believe it. It's because I listen to a ton of audiobooks. Trust me, my physical reading has been down. Like, I've been having trouble focusing and all of that. So it is what it is. So anyways, 43 books, fantastic. I'm hoping I get even more in October because I just joined a readathon. So I'm hoping it'll push me to read. They've been doing reading sprints on their Discord, and it's really been like driving me. So I've read a ton of books this weekend. So anyways, and then I had 15,064 pages read. So my ratings, I had 1 6-star, which I have not talked about yet. So that might clue you in on what it is on any of my weekly wrap-ups. Then I had 12 5-stars, 6 4.5 stars, 16 4-stars, 3 3.5 stars, 3 3-stars, and then 2 2-stars. So honestly, a fantastic month. I had so many good reads. So again, it's always tough to narrow down what I want to give you as my top reads, but I did narrow it. And I'll talk about those after the stats. But again, to kind of show you the type of formats that I'm reading, so you can kind of see where I'm getting the majority of these reads is from audio. I had 10 ALCs, 6 ARCs, 18 audiobooks. Okay, so think about that, 18 and 10, because the ALCs are advanced listening copies that I get. So that's 28 books out of the 43 were audiobooks. So it's a lot. It's a lot of what I read. Okay, and then I had 2 paperbacks and 7 ebooks. So, I did a little bit better physical reading, I think, this month than I did the previous month. So hopefully I'm on the roll here of getting better, because I was kind of in a little bit of like a reading slump feeling when I was reading physically, which is just not great. It's not great to feel like that. Okay, so let's talk about the types, the genres that I read. I read 8 contemporary, which usually is the most that I read, is all contemporary. You know, a lot of ARCs and ALCs are always going to be like usually the contemporary books, but I actually read more dark romance. So I read 9 dark romances, which is great. 3 erotic romances, 1 mafia, 3 paranormal, 2 post-apocalyptic, 1 historical, which I'm really annoyed with myself because I need to read more historical romance and I've just been slacking. So I need to get on that. It's just been tough with all the other books that I have to read that I'm not getting to my historicals. 6 sports romances, 5 small town, 2 fantasy, and 3 fanfics. Yep, I got some fanfic this month. Finally, it's like the first month out of the year that I finally read fanfic, but I did it. So yeah. So those are my stats. Honestly, it was a great month in September. I was worried with my new promotion that I wasn't going to have enough time to listen to audiobooks at work because I listen to a ton of audiobooks at my job. So I thought that would kind of lower my stats a little bit, but honestly, I've still been able to listen to a ton. And just to clarify too with my audiobooks, I don't even listen to music really that much because I always have an audiobook on. So that's not really great. You should listen to music. I think everybody needs music in their life, but I'm so like always driving the audiobooks that like I listen to them while I drive. I listen to them at work. I listen to them when I do chores around the house. I listen to them when I play video games. So I usually won't even want to play a video game that has like a ton of dialogue or like story sometimes because I'll want to have my audiobook in at the same time. So, I mean, that's why I'm just trying to preference this by explaining why I'm able to listen to that many audios because I know it kind of seems unrealistic to a lot of people. Anyways, I don't know why I'm defending myself so much on this, but okay. So now I am going to talk about, let me pull up my first thing because I didn't even write notes on this, which is bad for me because I still haven't written my review for this because I was holding it after my live show that we just had on Saturday. Again, like nobody's watching my live shows, which bums me out, but I hope that you go watch my Immortals After Dark live shows after they're live. If you can't make it for the live, still go over, give them a view, see if you're interested. Again, we are, just finished book 15 in the Immortals After Dark series, which is crazy. So we've been reading these since for the entire year. So I get why people fall off and they can't stick with it, but I just really want you guys to head over and watch those lives. So obviously that clued you into what my 6-star might be. It's going to be an Immortals After Dark pick. Which one was it? It was Sweet Ruin. This book, oh my gosh, this gave me everything that I've wanted. This is my favorite book in the Immortals After Dark series. It blew me away. It made me giddy. I loved everything about it. It was so unique. Nyx is heavily in this book, which if you have seen my lives, if you've seen me talk about Immortals After Dark, Nyx is like my favorite character. And I love her. So anyways, let's talk about what Sweet Ruin's about. So if you haven't read it, if you don't know anything about Immortals After Dark, I'm sorry. I'm just going to go right into what this book is. So this is a paranormal kind of fantasy type of series. But in this, we have 2 of my favorite characters in this series. So we have Josephine and Archer Rune. Now his name's Rune, but they call him the Archer because he's like supposedly the best archer, and that's what he's on this team of. They're called the Morior, which we've heard about the Morior and that they're might lead to our doom. Nyx has hinted about the Morior being like these bad guys, and we get to meet them in this book. And Rune is one of them, and he is a dark fae. So he's a dark fae mixed with demon. And he has had a horrible life. He's, I think, like a millennia old or something. Like, he's one of the oldest creatures. But the dark fae, their blood, their fluids, everything is poison, basically. Like, if he kissed you, you would die. So he's, never been able to really have a mate. He's basically had a very dark background. He is, lost his mother, was kind of sold into sexual slavery. He was in prison for a period of time. And then he ends up joining the Morior. This guy, Orion, I think his name was, if I'm remembering correctly. He's the head of this, and he's very mysterious. We don't know anything about him, but he's very powerful. And he ends up rescuing Rune and making him his archer. And Rune was actually able to kind of use his sexuality. He is very good at sex, even though he cannot like give fluids or kiss or anything. He has a workaround with this, which I'm not going to go into all that. But he is really good at sex, and that's how he's able to kind of be an assassin, kind of be a spy, go around, get the information that he needs. And so that's what he's been for his whole life, pretty much. And he thinks that's like his worth. So this guy kind of comes off like a rake. He is a total fuckboy. And if you know me, in historical romance, I love a rake. And there's nothing I love more than a reformed rake. And that's what we get with Rune. So he has actually been sent, because this actually takes place in like New Orleans and like in America and different places. So it's in our world. It's just a paranormal type of thing where we have immortals and everything. So he comes to Earth to, his task is to find Nyx and kill her. Because Nyx is danger to the Morior. They think she's the danger. She says they're the danger. Nyx is an all-knowing. She can see the future. She knows all these things that are happening. She's been kind of like the mass manipulator, puppet master, kind of putting people where they need to be, getting mates together sooner, kind of just putting everyone where she needs them because the big war that's going to be happening. So he has been sent to kill her. So he usually uses like nymphs and these creatures they're really good because they're like, they have all the information. So he will use sex to get information from them and all that kind of stuff. So in this, we have Josephine, and Josephine is the best heroine of the series. She is so badass, but she doesn't know how badass she really is. She actually woke up with her brother on Earth, doesn't really know what she is, and they were kind of bouncing from place to place, kind of living on the streets. She was very young, and she was taking care of her brother. Some bad things happen, and she ends up getting killed. She's unalived. She comes back from that. And she realizes she's, I guess, a vampire. She doesn't really know what vampires are, but she does taste blood and goes for that. And she decides to kind of be a superhero because the woman that took in her brother, basically, they were freaked out by her because she was dead and came back. And so she had to go away. So she's been alone most of her life. She's very lonely. She wants to find love. She comes across Rune screwing this nymph and getting her off really good. And so she is intrigued. And so they end up kind of having an altercation. And they end up deciding having to work together to get Nyx, because she finds out that her brother is with Nyx, and she doesn't know if he's in danger. She doesn't she doesn't know the situation because Josephine doesn't really know the lore. She doesn't know anything. And so she's kind of clueless about it all. But her and Rune have this insane connection. She actually bites him. And he's like, "You're dead." like, you're dead. You just bit me. Now you're going to die. And she just loves the taste of his blood. It's nothing sweeter she's ever tasted. She totally gets off on it. And he's just like totally blown away because nobody's been able to even like kiss him, let alone take his blood. And so he decides to take her to kind of like sexually torture her to find out what she knows about Nyx. And she doesn't really know anything about Nyx, and she's just enjoying it. Sorry, I'm talking way too much about this book, but I haven't been able to gush about it outside of the live show. So that's kind of why I'm gushing here. Sorry, guys. But it's just amazing because now they're teamed up. She makes a vow to the lore where he has to like take her on his journey to get Nyx, and she has to come along. And Nyx is so amazing in this book. The shit she does, all the stuff, like her plans and things are like coming into place. She literally does a beat down on Josephine. Like, it's crazy. But what I love the most about this was Josephine and Rune's romance. Yes, they kind of mess around sexually for a while, but they don't have sex for a long time because she wants a mate. She wants it forever. And he's like, there's no way, I don't do monogamy. This is my job. And what's sad is he thinks that's like his only worth is to use his sexuality and everything to get information and do what he has to do. And so it's them like falling for each other, going on a wild goose chase, trying to get Nyx, who's fucking with them the whole time. And it's just so good. Like, I can't describe how much I loved this book. It was fantastic. So it is a 6-star for me. I loved every minute of it. I want to listen to it again. It was so good. So favorite of the series. It's book number 15, and we got a 6-star finally. So it was so good. So I highly recommend it. I think 6 stars and probably like 3.5 chilies. Kresley Cole does amazing spice. And there's so many amazing scenes. I don't want to say what Josie fully is because she's not just a vampire. That's like kind of a cool reveal. And when you see how powerful she is, it's just amazing. So she's one of my favorites of all time. Amazing. Okay. I gushed too long about that one. I am sorry. These other ones will probably be much quicker. Sorry, let me pull back up my notes here. Okay, so the next one that I want to bring up was a brand new release from September. And I am actually on Bella Matthews' ARC team. So I actually won this from her team. And so this isn't the actual cover of Sweet Temptations, but I'm a Sweet Temptation, sorry. But this is like the special edition type of ARC book boyfriend thing. So it says Lucky Beneventi, which is the hero on here. And then it has, you know, the title and then like all the tropes on the back. But I'm just going to put up the regular cute hot guy cover up here for you guys. But this is a romance between Lucky Beneventi and Lexi. And Lexi is his best friend's little sister. He has been crushing on her since they were kids, but he couldn't really go there because her parents kind of, both their fathers kind of put the kibosh on it. It was like, no, you can't go there because Lexi has a very severe condition. She is suffering with cystic fibrosis. And I didn't really know a lot about this, so I had to like kind of look it up, and it was just very sad to read about that kind of condition. She's been struggling with it her whole life. Like, she shouldn't have lasted as long as she did. She has to like be careful with things she eats. She has to wear like this breathing mask like kind of like every day, take different medications. She's constantly seeing the doctor. So she has really struggled her whole life, but she wants to live a regular life and, you know, as long as she can. And so she is actually a chef. She went abroad to study at a school and she has just returned home. So she was moving in with her brother, who happens to also live with Lucky. So now she's going to be their new roommate. And Lucky was not happy about this because he has had to kind of like stay away from her forever, even though he's like totally in love with her and wants her. But the more they spend time together, they're roommates, the forced proximity, they're spending a lot of late nights, like just hanging out and talking. Like he's kind of done. He's like, I'm done waiting. I want her. Like I want to have her be mine. And so he does start to make the moves. And she kind of has attraction for him, but she doesn't want a relationship because she knows she could die at any time, that she's sick, very sick. She's going to live her life like this. And she doesn't want to leave anybody behind that will be, you know, devastated by her loss. And so she kind of is like pushing him away and being like, okay, well, we can have a one night stand, but like, that's it. And Lucky's like, oh, sure, sure. Does he mean that? No, he's going to keep pursuing her. And he wants her and he wants to take care of her. And what I loved about this romance was it was just so sweet. The mutual pining, the longing for each other, and the fact that like Lucky didn't care how long he had. He wanted to have her as long as they had together, and he's willing to just be with her. And so it just really it's very emotional. It's beautiful. And I just love Bella Matthews' second generation series. I still need to read all her first generation. I really want to make that my goal next year. Because I just love her. It's very found family, very, you know, sweet, swoony kind of books. And there's just something about the Beneventi brothers that just is so swoony. Their father is like a mafia man. None of the kids are in the mafia, but it's just, I love it. So I just loved just the beauty of their relationship and how Lucky is just devoted to her. So I loved it. It was one of my favorites. Okay, so my next favorite was Beautiful Desire by A. James or Ashley James. And this one was just a huge surprise for me. It was my favorite one in the series. This is the third book in the Blossom Beach series. It's a small town, cute, kind of spicy romance. So this one is between Fletcher and Georgia, and this is a reverse age gap stepbrother type of romance. And I had the audiobook. I got the ALC. I think I got the ARC and the ALC for this one. And I just really loved this. In this, we have Georgia, and she has like basically her own, I think it was her own bookstore, if I'm remembering correctly. I can't fully remember. I think it was a bookstore. But the building gets bought up by her stepbrother's dad. And he ends up basically kind of using it as leverage for her to keep an eye on his son. His son, Fletcher, is finishing out his MBA, and he was going to come work for his father. His father's a pretty over-the-top billionaire. I don't know if she's done a book with this guy because he seems very like alpha billionaire type. But his father doesn't think he's responsible enough or ready enough. And she kind of has always looked down on her stepbrothers, kind of like spoiled and whatever. And so she basically agrees to keep an eye on him and help him out so that he'll actually sell her the building, kind of give it to her, or I don't know if sell it to her, but give it to her so that she could own it outright and it wouldn't ever happen to her again. But then the twist comes where she thought he was just going to be in town and she was going to be watching out for him, helping him out. But his mom and like her dad, who are like the couple together, are like doing renovations, so they don't have room for him. So he has to come stay with her, and she's just livid about this. So they end up kind of staying together, and she decides, you know what? You need some responsibility. You're going to work for me for the summer or whatever while you're doing this. And so, you know, because he's been cut off financially from his father, so he doesn't have any spending money or anything. So she makes him pay his way and, you know, whatever. So as they spend time together, though, like the attraction is like insane. She's a curvy, sexy woman that's very like comfortable in her skin and like owns her curviness, and I just wish I could be like that. She was like so badass in this. But he is really attracted to her. But the thing is that she's more dominant, and she likes to be dominant in the bedroom. So, we have some really good kinkiness in here of her being like the dom and him being a little bit more submissive, even though he's like an alpha. Usually, like, he actually gets really turned on by this. And so they end up having like this crazy connection and start hooking up. And, you know, but the more she gets to know him, she realizes how he is ready for the business. He's very serious about his degree. You know, she like didn't really know the real him. And so she's like very frustrated with the way his dad is treating him. And so they really build like this really sweet relationship. But the kinky times are fun because we do have some pegging in this. And I love that. Like, I love pegging in a romance because it really shows trust and like a dynamic in a relationship for a man to be comfortable with you doing that, and communication while you're doing it. And so I just love this. So yeah, so we got kind of like a female dom situation here. We did have a threesome in it where her friend kind of like gets them rolling because they weren't really hooking up with each other, and kind of gets the ball rolling. And then we have some butt play, pegging, and then there's some period play in here. So it has really good spicy times, but it was fantastic. I just loved it. Okay, so the next favorite that I have was Over the Moon by Laura Pavlov. This one honestly was just so cute. It was very low angst, very sweet. I always love... Sorry, we got motorcycles that come out here every weekend. Okay, so it was very sweet, just super cute, kind of sports romance, and I love Laura Pavlov's like small town romances. So this is between Clark Chadwick and Eloise. Oh, and this is the third book in the Rosewood River series. I'm trying to catch up because I want to read the most recent release that just came out. And so that's why I finally got to this one. But Clark Chadwick is a hockey star. He just had an MCL injury and they had just won the Stanley Cup. So he is heading home to Rosewood River. He wants to kind of rehab there, work on his, injury and training and everything in his small town where he can really focus on it. And so they have to send out Eloise, who is going to be the one working on his PT and everything, out to him. And so she's very irritated at first, thinks he's very like, oh my God, the ego on this guy. Like, I have to move out to where he's at for like the summer or whatever to work on his, training and everything. So she starts out irritated. She's also the coach's daughter. But when she gets there, she realizes he is very dedicated. He just wanted the privacy and to be in his own comfortable, like, hometown. And he takes it very seriously, like hockey is his life. And so they really work together well. They have a very flirty, fun, kind of easygoing relationship. And the attraction between them is a lot. She's hanging a lot of time with him and his family. They have a lot of great family dinners and everything. But she is the coach's daughter. Plus, there is like a relationship clause. Okay, hopefully that's it for the motorcycles. I don't even know if you could hear them, but there is a relationship clause. So she like could lose her job. Obviously, he wouldn't be in the same like kind of risky situation as she is because he's the star of the hockey team. And she doesn't want to lose her like reputation and all of that kind of stuff. So they're kind of having a secret relationship. And that's kind of how that one goes. I just really loved this. It was super cute. I loved how it was handled when the relationship was revealed and how her dad reacted, and just, it's very cute. I loved it. And I love the Chadwick family. Like, they're just adorable. Okay, so the next one that I want to bring up is What He Doesn't Know and What He Always Knew by Kandi Steiner. This is a duet. This is a love triangle. And I thought that this was so well done. It was so angsty and emotional. It wasn't like your typical love triangle where like you know who you want them to pick immediately and stick with it. My feelings changed in the duet. Now, I'm not going to give any of that away. I just want to highlight that how good this was, because we have a woman in a troubled marriage. Her marriage is in trouble. She is very lonely. She lost her twins. One died in childbirth and one died afterwards. So it was very traumatic. And she has been in grief, and her husband was in grief, but they weren't working through those things together. So they've been like very separate and very like closed off together. So this deals with some heavier topics that really felt like real world, really relatable things that many women go through this, and marriages go through this. And so it just felt more important. I don't know, like heavier, like realistic type of book. And then her previous like high school crush, brother's best friend, comes to town, and he's actually teaching music at the high school she teach, or is it high school? I can't remember, but at the school she's teaching at. I don't think it's high school, sorry. But and so they reconnect, and now it's all those butterfly feelings. He's showing her the attention. He wants to be with her. He's pursuing her, and she's very confused and conflicted because she is falling in love with him, but she still has her husband, and what's going to happen. So, yeah. So I will say the first book, I was like leading towards one guy, then the end kind of changed, and the third act or reveal at the end of that book kind of made me go, Then the next book built on that, and I kind of was leaning towards the other guy. So I think that this was such a well done love triangle. It gave me all the feels. It was very swoony, and there's no like bad guy here. They're all really flawed human beings and just trying to get through, and they're all dealing with grief and loss in like different ways. And so I just really connected to it, and I'm going to be reading the third book, which is going to be about the guy she doesn't choose, because I still want him to get his happily ever after. So I really loved that duet. I think it's one of the best done love triangles I've read. And I really would, I highly recommend it. Now, I'm going to bring this one up really quickly. This was a brand new release. I actually just did a giveaway for this, but this was Tower from Claire Kent. You can see this cute, like little bitty little one here. This is one of her editions that she has. It is available on KU now, but originally it was just on her site, and you can get these directly from Claire Kent's website. But they're so cute. They're like little teeny, but this is set in her Kindled world, but it's a new series where it is going to be basically fairy tale retellings set in the post-apocalyptic world of the Kindled series. So I just love that. This is a Rapunzel retelling. It is super cute, low angst, just everything that you love about Claire Kent. If you love the Kindled series, you will love this. It is fantastic. It also has, oh, this one was signed, and then it has that artwork right there for you. So definitely check those out. It's really short. Like this is 150 pages in this edition, at least. So it's a really quick novella. It's between, let me see, do I have the names here? Sorry, I didn't write notes. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to grab my notes because I didn't have their names written down. So this is between Haley and Levi, also known as Boss. Haley is a younger woman. She has been pretty sheltered during the post-apocalyptic after impact. If you don't know, in the Kindled world, there was an asteroid hit over in the UK, and then obviously that's affected the world, and everything kind of came crashing down. There was health issues with like the air and all that kind of stuff. And I believe this one is set, 3 years after impact. And her father has kind of kept her sheltered and safe on his farm. But he has passed away from a heart attack. And so now she's all alone. And so she's in a really bad dangerous situation, being a woman alone in this world. It's dangerous. So she decides to proposition Levi. He is the head of like an MC. He kind of runs a club nearby that, he's powerful, strong, and he could protect her. So she offers him kind of like the sex trade type of thing, where she offers herself up for protection. So he does agree to this, and she ends up moving in with him and going to his club. And she, does hold up the end of her deal. But as they he's very didn't want to pressure her to do anything, but she really just wants to do it and have a place and have a real place there and feel safe. And so the more that they interact, the more that they are discovering sexuality, their sexual interest in each other, they start to really fall for each other. So it is cute. It's, very short, quick novella, and I can't wait till the next one. So wanted to bring that up here and show this cute little addition. So anyways, those were all my favorites from the month. Again, I don't bring up all my books that I read. There was 43. So if you want to check out all my reviews, make sure you head over to my weekly wrap-up playlist. You can go all the way back to the beginning of the year, rewatch any videos, just check out all those books. I talk about every book that I read every week. So you can definitely check those out there if you want more information on all the other books that I didn't bring up here. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this. As always, I appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite book of the month was. And I will see you guys on the next one.